When it comes time to get started on your project, you've gone through the permit process, and now it's time to actually get out the work bags and the hammer and get to work. It's vitally important that you make sure that you're working off of your approved set of plans. As an inspector, I go out on the job site all the time, and frequently I run into even contractors who are not working off of their approved set of plans, their approved construction documents. And what happens is with today's age and everything moving online, people will submit their plans online and they think, well, I submitted them. Those are my approved set. And they get a permit, they post their permit, and they say, well, I'm good to go. Well, usually, at least in the area I'm at, that's not the case. Usually, those plans that were submitted then have markups on them, they have details on them, they have notes on them that the plans examiner put on there that say, hey, make sure you do X, Y, and Z. And as an inspector, we want to see the approved set so we know that you're building it the correct way. And so a lot of times I'll show up on the site, they'll hand me their plans, and I'll say, well, these aren't your stamped set of plans. Where's your approved set of plans? I say, well, I never got them. This is what I submitted, and I got a permit, so I'm good to go. And I said, well, so I'll get on my phone or get on my tablet or whatever I'm using for a device and I'll pull them up and I'll say, no, this is your approved set of plans. You can see here it says, well, your footings need to be this big, your wall size needs to be this big, your floor joists need to be X, Y, and Z at this dimension. And so there's red lines on there. And it's vitally important to make sure that you have those so that you don't get to a specific spot in the project, have the inspector show up and say, oh, yeah, you missed this note. And so now you need to go and redo this, whatever that may be. So it's important to know and to have all of your approved construction documents on site. Now, if you submit hard copies to your building department, you'll probably get a hard copy back and it'll be marked up. And that's perfect then. Then you have your hard copy set and you're good to go. If you submit them online, make sure that you do have those approved set. And I'll show you kind of a detail of kind of what something might look like, all marked up like on a site plan or something. So you kind of have an idea what it is that I'm talking about. Usually a approved set of plans will have a stamp on it from your city or county that's looked at them. They might have a permit number up in one of the corners for you to work off of. And it might correlate to then the permit number on your permit, right? So it's a permitted approved set of plans. So what would be included possibly in an approved set of plans in a construction documents? It could be site plans. It could be just drawings, right? It could be elevations, details, plan sets. It could be footing calculations. It could be like beam specifications that maybe you're putting in a glue lam beam and you went to the lumber yard and they gave you some specifications. They said, hey, you need to put in a 5 1/8 by 12 glue lam to span 15 feet. And so they hand you a set of specs that says it will span that far, and you might have to submit it to your building department so they can review it. So all those little specific items could be submitted and then stamped and approved. So as an inspector, we show up on site and we say, hey, where's your approved set of plans? You're able to hand all those to us and we can look through it and say, oh yeah, yep, you're building it per your approved set of plans. You're good to go. But lately, at least, since the COVID era and a lot of things moving online, I know at least in our area, there's confusion on what are approved set of plans. Just submitting them does not equal approval. You want to make sure you have the stamped set. So let's take a quick look at, I got a couple little details here for you that I want to show you so you kind of have an idea what to look for. Before I jump into that though, just keep in mind as a homeowner, you don't have to get an engineer involved. You don't have to get an architect involved for most homeowner projects, building a deck, finishing your basement, building a shop. You can design all that yourself. You can draw it up on pencil and pad of paper, and you can go in and the building department should be able to help you through some of the structural elements. Now, a pole barn might be a little bit different because pole barns aren't part of the prescriptive method in the IRC, the International Residential Code. But usually if you're buying a kit, you go to a lumber yard, you buy a pole barn kit, they're going to hand you a set of plans, engineered stamp plans, and you can submit those to your building department for approval. For most other homeowner projects, you should be good to go. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head anything else that you might need any type of engineering for, but I can't think of anything that you couldn't do through the IRC, through the International Residential Code, through prescriptive method, which is using 2x10s, 2x12s, dimensional lumber. They actually have charts that tell you like, oh, you can use two 2x12s as a beam and it'll span this far, right? You get into glue lambs, like I said, your lumber yard's going to give you specs to get you through that. Designing footings, your building department should be able to help you through that as well. So as you work through all of those items, those all become part of your construction documents, and that's what you want to have on site, and that's what you want to work off of when you get ready to start your project. So this was probably the main example that I wanted to show everybody was, this is a site plan, and so they've went in and they've labeled the distance. If you go to your county assessor's website, so whatever that is, you go county assessors, you should be able to type in your address and you should be able to see all kinds of information on your house. It should tell you what size lot you have. It should give you parcel numbers, your tax information, and anybody can go look at it. So that should help you fill out a site plan if you needed to do one. On this particular house, they're adding an addition right here. And so they went in, they had to be 5 feet off the property line. They're talking about setback distance. So all these red lines, this is all from the local city jurisdiction. They're putting these notes in there. And so what might have been submitted was everything without all of these marks, all of this additional information. So your building department went in and added all that information. Well, you wouldn't know it if you didn't make sure that you printed and found your approved set of plans. They might tell you, they might have crossed this out and they put in there that you needed to be 6 feet off the property line. Well, if you went in and dug your hole already and you set your forms up for your footing and the inspector shows up and says, hey, where's your approved set of plans? And you say, well, it's right here. And they say, well, that's not the approved set. This is, they pull it up on their phone or have some way to look at it. They say, well, you actually need to be 6 feet off. So now you got to go move your footings. Your addition just got smaller. If you already ordered trusses, your trusses can now be, oversized. So you can see how just one little detail, if you don't have your approved set of plans, could like throw a huge wrench in everything and mess stuff up. So keep that in mind. Let's see here. I have a couple other drawings. So you might end up with like, this is just a plan view. Now, obviously, maybe you're not building a whole new house, but maybe you're just finishing a basement and you're going to go in here and you might just pad of paper and pencil, draw up what your basement looks like for dimensions. I'm going to put a bedroom here. I'm going to put an egress window here. Here are the stairs. They're existing. You can write existing, not messing with them. You can put, I'm putting smoke and CO detectors here. I'm going to put a smoke detector there. And just kind of give broad information on what it is that you're doing. Go in, you might be able to get it approved over the counter, or if you have to submit it online, just make sure you find that approved set that's marked up and make sure you have it on site. Another site plan might look like this. Maybe you're just building a deck. That's a little bit faded there. It's hard to read, but if you're just doing a deck, you could just do a site plan, do a box for your house and say, I'm doing a deck right here and it's 10 feet off the property here and 30 feet off the back of the property. It can be pretty simple. So submit your documents. They're going to ask you for a certain amount of information. You'll get all your documents, but the big key is just make sure you have your approved set of plans on site. Your approved set of construction documents, which, like I said, can be anything that's required to finish your project. So hopefully this video helps you out, helps you kind of understand what inspectors are looking for and know where to go and what to ask for when it comes to construction documents. and what to work off of. So hopefully this video helped you. Hit the like button if it did. Subscribe below. And if you're out there, you're doing projects and you're looking for guides, looking for information, maybe you got a plumbing project, you're putting a bathroom in your basement, or you're building a shop or a garage or something, and you just want to make sure you've got some good guides, some good guidelines to work off of that will help you make sure you're meeting code requirements. Go to buildingcodetips.com. I got lots of guides there, and I'm also available for consultation if you need it. So my goal is to help out homeowners, keep them moving in the right direction. I'm out there every week doing inspections myself, and some of the best parts of it are helping out homeowners and keeping them moving. So hopefully this helps you out, and good luck on your project, and I hope it ends up being something that you're excited and proud about.